You work hard, you show up on time. One day your boss pulls you aside and says, "Congratulations, you're getting a raise." For a moment you feel proud, you feel seen, but a few months later nothing in your life feels different. Your rent is higher, your groceries cost more, and somehow, even with that raise, your bank account is emptier than ever. That's not your imagination. That's the paycheck illusion. A corporate trick designed to make you feel like you're moving forward when you're actually stuck in place. At Next Level Studios, we break down the truth behind the system. This documentary will expose how companies use fake raises, inflated titles, and temporary bonuses to keep workers believing they're doing better, when in reality, they're working harder for less. From hourly wage traps to performance-based manipulation. This isn't just about money, it's about power. We're going to peel back the layers on how the system hides behind the word opportunity while quietly rigging the game. Why do so many people feel broke, even with decent jobs? Why does it feel like every raise is swallowed by rising costs? This isn't bad luck, it's by design. The average American is working more hours than ever before and still can't get ahead. But once you see the game for what it really is, you'll never fall for it again. This is the beginning of the wake-up call. Welcome to the paycheck illusion. It starts with inflation. Prices go up, gas, rent, food, everything. So your company gives you what they call a cost of living raise. Maybe it's 3%, maybe 5%. It sounds good. But what they don't tell you is that inflation also rose by 5% or more. So what does that mean? You didn't get a raise. You just stayed exactly where you were. No better off, no worse off, just trapped in place while the company gets to say they took care of their employees. This is one of the oldest tricks in corporate America. A 5% raise during 5% inflation doesn't grow your wealth. It just helps you survive. And most times the raise doesn't even fully match inflation. So every year, your paycheck technically goes up, but your purchasing power quietly goes down. It's a hidden pay cut disguised as progress. Then there's the overtime trap. You might ask for more hours thinking that's how you'll get ahead. But many companies intentionally schedule you just under the full-time or overtime limit, 35, 37, or even 39 hours, to avoid paying extra. Others will reassign your duties, rotate staff, or use job title changes to make you exempt from overtime rules altogether. It's not about efficiency, it's about control. And if you question it, you're told to be grateful. At least you'll have a job. That's how they keep the illusion alive, by making sure you're too tired, too broke, or too afraid to look closer. This isn't just wage suppression, it's psychological warfare. Here's another move they don't talk about. Raising your hourly wage while cutting your hours. You might go from $15 an hour to $18 an hour and feel like you finally made it. But behind the scenes, your weekly schedule drops from 40 hours to 25. Do the math, and suddenly that raise is actually a pay cut. Your checks get smaller, even though your rate got higher. It's a psychological trick. The company gets to say, "We pay well above minimum wage while still keeping labor costs low." And because your hourly rate sounds impressive, most workers don't realize what's happening until the bills hit. You're not making more, you're working less, earning less, and struggling more. This tactic is especially common in retail, food service, warehouses, and part-time roles. They'll give you just enough hours to keep you hopeful, but never enough to qualify for health insurance, PTO, or overtime. And if you try to find another job to fill the gap, your schedule changes week to week, making it nearly impossible to plan or grow. It's not an accident. It's designed to keep you available but never secure. Meanwhile, full-time positions are harder to get. Those that do exist are loaded with responsibilities, and often paired with another tactic, the fake promotion. They'll offer you a new title like team lead or assistant manager with barely any extra pay. You're told it's a stepping stone, but in reality, you're just doing more work for the same, or sometimes even less, than before. They're not rewarding you, they're reprogramming you. You're told to work hard and move up. But what if the latter is fake? One of the biggest corporate scams is the illusion of upward mobility. It starts with a title change. You're no longer cashier, you're now a customer experience associate. No real raise, No added benefits, just a fancier name on your badge, and maybe a new set of responsibilities. But it's enough to make you think you've advanced. They call it a promotion. But in reality, it's a trap. Extra duties without extra pay. And once your title changes, they can legally reclassify you. Suddenly, you're exempt from overtime pay. You work longer hours but can't complain because management doesn't get overtime. You didn't get ahead. You got boxed in. Then come the performance bonuses. They sound good. Hit this goal and you'll get a $500 bonus. But the goalpost keeps moving. One month it's sales, next month it's customer reviews. The bonus becomes a temporary carrot they dangle to keep you chasing results. Short-term incentives instead of long-term growth. And even when you hit the bonus, it's a one-time payment, not a permanent raise. Companies use these payouts to avoid adjusting your base pay, which means they don't have to increase what they owe you every week, every month, or every year. It saves them millions. All of it is designed to manipulate your ambition, to make you think you're climbing the ladder, when really you're just running in circles. The system doesn't reward loyalty, it exploits it. By now, you've probably felt it. The silent pressure, the unspoken rule that if you just work a little harder, you'll finally get ahead. But the truth is, the system is designed to keep you chasing. Raises that don't beat inflation. Hours that don't qualify for benefits. Titles that don't pay more. Bonuses that don't last. Every time you think you're leveling up, the game changes. This is how people get trapped in jobs for years, loyal, exhausted, and broke. They're told to stay patient, keep showing up, and wait for their big opportunity. But promotions go to favorites. Raises come too slow, and even when they do come, they're usually just enough to survive, never enough to thrive. Meanwhile, companies save billions. Every dollar they don't pay you in base wage, they keep for shareholders and executive bonuses. That's not a side effect. That's the business model. And when workers finally burn out or start to question the system, they're labeled ungrateful, lazy, or entitled. But the truth is, most people aren't lazy. They're overworked and underpaid. Quiet quitting isn't rebellion, it's survival. You start picking up side hustles. DoorDash here, Uber there, maybe reselling, maybe a second job. Not to get rich, but just to pay rent, just to fill the gap your full-time job created. This isn't a life, it's a trap. And worst of all, they made you believe it was your fault. The illusion isn't just financial, it's emotional. They've convinced the working class to blame themselves for a system rigged against them. While you're skipping meals or working two jobs to stay afloat, the people at the top are cashing in. CEOs are raking in record-high salaries, hundreds of times more than the average worker. Shareholders are celebrating profit margins while frontline employees ration gas and groceries. And the companies, they put on a good show. Commercials full of smiling employees, slogans about investing in people, and carefully worded press releases that make them sound like heroes. But behind the curtain, they're doing everything they can to pay you less while demanding more. Government plays a role too. Weak labor laws, loopholes in wage classification, and minimal enforcement all allow these tactics to continue. While workers argue over politics, the corporations quietly rewrite the rules. Rules that protect them and keep you stuck. You hear phrases like, "we're like a family here," or "we value our team." But when rent's due, that fake family won't help. And when you finally burn out or quit, they replace you the next day like you never existed. It's not just a job problem, it's a system problem. The economy is built on people working themselves to the bone for wages that barely cover the basics. And the more you accept it, the deeper you fall into the trap. They tell you to budget better, to work harder, to stop complaining, but they'll never tell you the truth. You were never supposed to win. Not unless you break free from the illusion and start seeing the system for what it really is. Step into a break room and you'll hear it, "We're like family here." But walk into the executive office on it and you'll see the truth. You're not family. You're a line item, a cost to be reduced, a body to be replaced. The companies know how to play the game. They build an illusion of care. bright commercials, staged smiles, and motivational slogans. You'll see diverse employees laughing together in perfectly ironed uniforms. You'll hear terms like inclusion, growth, and people-first culture. But behind that screen in quiet offices, teams of PR professionals are crafting the illusion. Press releases, brand statements, damage control scripts, every word carefully written to protect the image, not the people. It's all designed to manipulate public perception and employee morale. If you feel like your job cares, you'll tolerate more. You'll accept low raises. You'll forgive shady scheduling. You'll justify burnout because at least they're trying. But who are they really protecting? Not the workers, not the communities, the image, the stock price, the boardroom. Even the holiday bonuses and pizza parties serve a purpose. They're distractions. You're supposed to forget that you didn't get a real raise, that your hours were cut, that you haven't had a meaningful promotion in years. These gestures aren't generosity, they're strategy. When a company looks too perfect, too polished, too happy, ask yourself who benefits from that image. Because if your employer needs a full-time PR team to convince the world they're ethical, they probably aren't. You're not crazy. The smiles are fake. The illusion is real. Here's the truth they don't want you to figure out. The system isn't broken in. It was built this way. Built to squeeze as much work as possible out of you for the lowest cost. Built to reward loyalty with stagnation and ambition with manipulation. And while you're trying to survive on shrinking paychecks and shifting hours, they're celebrating record profits. You were told to work hard, show up, stay loyal. You were told that success would come if you just earned it. But now you know the game was rigged from the start. The raises don't keep up with inflation. The bonuses are temporary. The hours are unstable. The promotions are fake. And the smiles on the posters? They're masks. This isn't just about low pay. It's about control, because when people are constantly broke, constantly busy, and constantly confused, they don't have time to organize, to question, to rise. But now you see it. The illusion is exposed. So what do? You start asking questions. You start comparing numbers. You stop settling for at least you have a job. You realize you were never supposed to survive in their system. You were supposed to break free from it. There's a reason you're still struggling, and it's not because you're lazy. It's because the paycheck illusion is real, and millions are trapped in it. But now that you know the truth, it's time to share it. Subscribe for the next video. The system goes deeper than you think.